remind you of anything?
When I show this video to people, I get comments like, "That is creepy."
That's quantitative psychologist Stephen Boker.
Because these people are showing exactly the same emotion.
The technique is called expression cloning, and it's an optical illusion, sort of. These are the faces of real people, but only one person is actually making those expressions. Then the expressions are mapped onto digital versions of the other faces. Psychologists are using these digital clones to study human behavior. Barry John Theobald, who developed the cloning technique, says that the Stepfordizing process begins by videoing a subject.
And we select individual video frames that define that range of motion. And I've labeled these images by hand, so I know exactly where the facial features are in each of those 20 images.
There are data points for the eyebrows, the mouth.
And then I can compute the average position for each of the points that I put on the face. And that gives me what we call the mean face, the average shape of the face across those images.
That mean face is the basis of the clone. So here, a computer program is analyzing video of this woman's face and is tracking her facial movements as deviations from her mean face.
Each video frame, it gives me how the face is deformed from the mean. Then we can basically translate that to a new person. We just swap the mean shape and the mean appearance in and apply the deviations from another person.
And voila, you have a hybrid, one person's face driven by another person's expressions. So what can you do with that? Re-enter Stephen Boker.
I'm interested in the way that people coordinate their actions. We will tend to gesture to each other, we will make facial expressions, we will nod our heads to one another, and this process is like a dance.
And how you dance changes with your partner. Take nodding. Women nod more when talking to other women, and men nod less when talking to other men. And intermediate nodding takes place when women and men talk to each other. But what drives that nodding dynamic?
Is it their behavior towards you, or is it the way that they look? And what they really need for those experiments is to be able to separate the way someone looks from the way that they behave.
And that separation is possible with this video conferencing system. So this woman is having a conversation with this face. But that face and voice can be changed, so she thinks she's talking with someone else.
For instance, we can manipulate what gender a person appears to be.
Part of the reason I like them is I have a lot of respect for them. I have friends that work for them too, so I kind of get to know them like on a personal level.
Oh, you know them?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I think
so you can talk to a man who behaves like a woman or a woman who behaves like a man, and Boker and his colleagues found that this upsets the nodding dynamic.
The movements are entirely due to the motion dynamics and not at all due to the apparent sex of the person you're talking to.
If a man nods and inflects his voice like a woman will treat him like a woman.
That's really cool.
Now, the premise of Boker's experiments is that this hybrid person is believable.
People didn't notice that they were avatars.
What's phenomenal about it is that you can take just, say, 20 or so parameters, 20 numbers, and generate expressions that people will accept as being real.
Is this a reality show?
Yeah, it was a reality show, and like I really don't like reality TV, but
And that's probably because there's a real person behind that digital curtain.
We're not trying to predict what the model should move like. That's a much harder problem.
One that Theobald is still working through. For Science Friday, I'm Flora Lichtman.